Hello there, witches, wizards, magicians, occultists, sorcerers, conjurers, magical practitioners, and seekers of the arcane. For those that are new, welcome to my channel. I am the Chaotic Grey Witch. I create occult, esoteric, witchy, and magical content. Welcome back to Magical Monday. Today's discussion is spirit offerings. Ooh! Okay, so what are spirit offerings? In simplest form, they are kind gestures or gifts to spirits. Simple as that. Going forward, this is going to be my personal gnosis. Let's dive in. When to give spirits an offering. This ultimately depends on the spirit, but I would say anytime you feel is right to you. Further elaboration on these thoughts. So essentially, it all depends on the spirit you're working with, or the spirits, if I'm working with multiple spirits. Personally, I have given offerings to spirits if I've required assistance from a specific spirit. Like, I'm going to give you this offering before I need assistance on X, Y, and Z. And then after the assistance is delivered, another offering for thank you for the help. That being said, relationships with spirits should not just be transactional. And I'm not saying everything I was doing is purely transactional. No, because spirits won't like it if you come around only if you want something and if you need something. We all know that person that only comes around when they want something or need something from you and don't want to deal with that. And spirit, that should not be the case with your relationship with spirit or any type of spirits in general. Giving an offering to a spirit can just be like, hey, I'm thinking of you, or this is an offering for you for X, Y, and Z. A better example would be the house spirits. Every house, every home has its own house spirits. And they should be venerated because they're there with you, present in your life. So what to do would be an example would be, and we'll get into what types of offerings in a moment, but water. Fill up like a cup of water, place it in a sacred spot of your house, or if there is a specific area of the house or apartment, wherever you live in, condo, X, Y, and Z, you get the picture, that the spirit wants you to put it, then I would recommend doing that. If there's not really a specific place, is leave a water offering and replenish it as often as you feel. Preferably, when it comes to water offerings, replace it every day or every week. Personally, I do mine every week. Just water the plant when I'm done with it, water a plant, any plants, fill up with more water, and make a dedicated offering to that house spirit. So whenever you feel called, if there's a specific day you want to do, like every Sunday we leave an offering for the spirits, or every Saturn's Day, or Moon's Day, whatever calls to you and whatever your relationship is with the spirit is how you should go about leaving offerings for the spirits. So let's get into types of offerings you can leave for spirits. What I would leave for a deity might not be the same thing I would leave for a specific spirit, because certain deities might require a specific offering. As an example, whatever Zeus wants can be completely different to what Odin wants. You can't give him the same thing, unless there are some offerings that could be the same. You get the gist of it. So everything is, depending on the deity, different things are required. That being said, here are just generals for spirits. I'm not covering deities. Offerings, these are spirit offerings. Okay, so side tangent aside. Water. When I first began practicing my craft, for the spirits that were assisting me, or my spirit team, my guides, my guardians, I regularly leave them water. Water is actually a universal, and you can leave for certain deities. But again, not going into the topic. If they want it, they can. If some don't, some do. Water is very generic and easy to leave an offering, whether it be for house spirits, your spirit guides, other spirits that are working with you, watering trees, the tree spirits, plant spirits, spirits all around. Water offering is essential for working with spirits, in my opinion. You don't have to use water, but water is easy to basically leave as an offering for spirits. Second option to leave for spirits can be honey. Caution with honey. When I was informed about using honey as an offering, I would learn that from a ceremonial magician buddy of mine. He suggested to use honey as an offering. And after communicating with a friend who's a practicing witch, we were talking about just different offerings. I mentioned honey, and she brought up that the Fae love honey. So when leaving honey offerings, be specific to who the offering is for. Unless you want to work with the Fae, kudos to you. Do whatever you want to do. They like honey offerings. So I've been told. I don't work with them. I don't know. That's only hearsay. If you know other offerings that they like, you can leave them in the comments down below. But honey is another offering. When you're setting the intention for the honey, like this honey is for the land spirits, the earth spirits, spirits of the skies, the trees, whatever you feel is appropriate to set the intention for when you're leaving the honey offering for a specific spirit. A third option to leave a generic offering for spirit can be flowers. Go to the store, buy some flowers for different spirits, leave it at the base of a tree. At this location by where I live, it's very spiritual. It's a very spiritual vortex, as well as a couple portals, and it's a beautiful little hiking trail. And one time I was there with my mom. We were having conversations about magic and all the other fun witchy stuff, and we noticed two people leaving flowers by a tree. They noticed us approaching and hurried on out of there. They skedaddled. They didn't want us to see us like leave an offering for the trees, like a little bouquet of flowers. I thought it was the sweetest thing ever. I'm assuming they were practitioners. They could probably not have been practitioners, but I went with the assumption they are practitioners, and I thought that was sweet. They left the flower offering for the trees. And yeah, that's one way to do it as well. You can leave flower offerings for different spirits. It depends on the spirit. It doesn't have to just be specifically for tree spirits. It can be for spirits of the house too, or any other spirits you're working with. Flowers are an offering, a simple one. You just go to the store and buy it. Again, it all depends on the spirit. Another option can be incense offerings. Cedar, certain spirits will prefer cedar. Others will prefer copal. Others might prefer frankincense. It all depends on the spirit and what they desire. Cedar is a generic one to leave an offering to a spirit. However, always verify with the spirit what they prefer and what they want as an offering. Another offering you can leave for spirits are coins, money. When I go to cemeteries or graveyards, before I enter, I leave coin offerings for the guardians of the cemetery. I go in if I want to collect graveyard or cemetery dirt to be respectful, leave offerings for that spirit that you are acquiring the dirt from. And as leaving the cemetery, I learned this, to leave an offering as you also exit the cemetery. Preferably coins are better for cemetery spirits, but you don't have to use coins. Those spirits. Little story. Another hiking trail by where I live, at this crossroads a few years ago, I believe 2 years ago, somebody had put a statue of two Hindu pantheons. It was Hanuman and Ganesh. Now, I don't work with any of those deities, but they were left at a crossroads surrounded by some rocks, and on the little rock statue, on the little rocks, the statues were placed, and people had left coins. Lots of coins all over. There was a dollar bill I even saw at one point, but flowers as well. People came and left them offerings. I do not work with them. However, I did leave coin offerings out of respect for the deities that were here, and to show like, hey, I don't work with you. I'm not saying I want to work with you, or if they want to work with me, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I did leave coin offerings for those deities out of respect. So little things like that. You can leave coin offerings, flower offerings. Another offering, I believe this is the fifth one or sixth. I lost count. Another offering to leave is food. Now, there are a lot of different, when it comes to food, there are a lot of different things you can leave as offerings. Again, it depends on the spirit. However, with food, you don't want to simply just throw it away. Sometimes in certain situations, if you have no other options, like if the food is molding, obviously throw it away. Or if you have compost and you are able to compost, I recommend composting. Unless there's a specific way the spirit wants you to handle the food once it is done, because food can spoil quickly. It all depends on the spirit and what you're working with, and also you, if you like want to leave us apple offering on an altar for a spirit or a deity X, Y, and Z. With food, if you can compost it, compost it. If you can feed it to the animals, that if it's not bad, it's not going to hurt the animals, and it's not going to like damage the environment either, put it in nature. If you have to, it's not the best course of action, throw it away. Respectfully, like, this is to tell the spirit or deity, whoever you work with, I'm going to discard this, unless they have a specific way they want you to discard it. Again, it's all on the situation, how you're feeling with that. Wrapping up, another offering you can leave for spirits is alcohol. Again, depending on the spirit or what type of alcohol they prefer, you can leave alcohol, whether it be tequila, rum, whiskey, mezcal. It all depends on the spirit you're working with or the deity. But alcohol, you can even leave champagne or wine. And there's abundance of other alcohols. It's all on the spirit and what you're working with. And then the last one, tobacco. Tobacco, pure tobacco. Some spirits can take cigarettes as well. However, pure tobacco, that one I learned from Sean Clinton. He leaves tobacco offerings for different spirits. I personally haven't left tobacco. I haven't got my hands on tobacco, but would I consider leaving tobacco as an offering? Yes. For spirits, definitely leave a tobacco offering. It all depends on the different spirits and what they're usually do, if they want something in particular. But if you're leaving a sacred place or going to a cemetery, coins, tobacco. So those are some of the offerings you can leave. Some of them I have left for different spirits or for a spirit. What offerings do you leave for spirits? Are there specific offerings for spirits or even deities that you have left? I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Or if you have any other suggestions on what to leave as offerings for spirits, I'd love to hear them. If there's something you guys suggest I should leave as an offering and why I should leave it as an offering for a spirit as in general, please comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on the matter. That is all for this video. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you found this information helpful. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Subscribe for more magical content. Hit the bell to be notified when I release another video so you don't miss out. Be magical. Blessed be.